I want to talk about the suspect and talk about the details that are emerging about him. The truck that he used to carry out the attack was found with weapons, IEDs, and an ISIS flag. What sticks out to you about the emerging details of this incident?
Well, it's clearly, in my mind, at this point, based on the evidence put forth, a terrorist act. Terrorists don't want to commit subtle acts. I'm in the fraud business mostly, and fraud is subtle, it's not announced. But this was clearly, hey, this is my signature, this is terror, and here's to you.
To your point, then, do you think that there's going to be more attacks because, A, this was so brazen? The FBI said something to the effect of he wanted people to see, he wanted to kill as many people as possible. Do you think we can expect more copycat events? What does that look like?
Well, this type of event has been copycatted worldwide. This is not an unusual tactic for terrorism, and I expect that it will continue to be so. Maybe in the future, sometime we'll have better technology on the ground, vehicular technology that may assist in preventing such things. But the tactic of using an automobile to set off explosives is not uncommon.
I want to talk about a different event that happened a few hours after the one in New Orleans. This one happened in Las Vegas in front of a Trump hotel. A Tesla Cybertruck exploded. The FBI said they are, quote, not ruling anything out, but as of now, there's, quote, no definitive link between the New Orleans and Vegas events. What do you think? Do you think these are two isolated incidents? What does that look like?
Well, I'm not going to contradict the FBI at this point. However, I would not be surprised if the events were related. You have the use of EVs in both cases. You have ex military or current military people involved. You have certain uh, risk indicators here that contribute to the signature of terrorism. Remember, terrorism has to announce itself. Terrorism has a signature, so the tactics are very similar. I would not be surprised to discover that they are linked through some sort of informal criminal network.
Do you think that people in big cities should worry? Because as you said about New Orleans, people were relaxed. That's a big city. That's a populous area. A separate event that's a possible terrorist attack also happened in Vegas. Do you think that you said that terrorism announces itself, that people in big cities in the United States should be more on guard, should be worried as of now?
Well, I hate to say yes, but I will. I don't like to fearmonger. I don't like to make people uncomfortable. But when you see terrorist activity, uh, when people are relaxed and congregate in public spaces, and there are many of them, and they're engaging in what some may seem to be frivolous activities, whether gambling or partying, that is a ripe opportunity for terrorism because the targets are distracted. They're often intoxicated, they're not paying attention, and risks are ignored.
What specifically are you looking out for next? Because it's been 24 hours since these attacks occurred. Information is dripping out. So, what specifically are you looking out for next, and what should we keep our eye on?
Well, I'm looking for a stronger evidentiary nexus to be drawn between the acts. I would not be surprised to see this as a harbinger of more terrorist activity. There's just too much in common with these events. I don't. I don't want again. I hate to be a Debbie Downer and ruin anybody's party, but remember, like the message of 9/11, the signature of 9/11 is quite literally 9/11, 911. Here's to you. Your government can't help you now. And here we have a similar event. You have people partying, people gambling, people relaxed, people having a good time, people thinking they got everything to their advantage, and some disgruntled, disaffected, malicious people can wreak havoc on those kind of vulnerable individuals.
And I want to talk about the malicious suspect in particular in the New Orleans attack, Shamsuddin Jabbar. Here's what we know about him so far. He's 42 years old, U.S. born citizen from Texas who served in the Army. What sticks out to you about his personal details, and how does someone get radicalized to commit this type of act?
Well, intelligence and emotional well being are fragile. This was an individual that, for much of his life, was probably regarded quite properly as a success, but he became disaffected. The system, probably, if you were to enter his mind, let him down, whether through foreclosures, divorce, unsatisfactory jobs, maybe the military let him down in his own mind. And that disaffection led him to be vulnerable and led him to be desperate and led him to be influenced by maybe others that were ready to exploit his disaffection and his vulnerability. And he acted out in an unlawful, evil manner.